Welcome to Unathletic Opinions, baby. Woo!
Welcome back to Unathletic Opinions, where four guys that suck at sports tell you their sports opinions. My name's Dante.
I'm Chris.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Mateo.
Right, let's get right into it. So basically, we're going to start off and we're going to do a quick little 5-minute drill where we talk about each NHL team. We're going to have 5 minutes to talk about every NHL team. It's going to go in an order. It's going to go me, then Chris, then Mateo, then Ryan. And we're just going to tell you our opinions in, a couple minutes. So basically, we're going to start from the top of the league, go to the bottom of the league. So starting off, we're going to start off with Chris, and then we're going to go to me. So starting off from the top, Washington Capitals. Chris, let's go. Start 5 minutes.
They look good. They were able to stay afloat when Ovechkin was injured. I like to see Ovechkin out there. He's one of the top goal scorers in the league.
All right, me, Winnipeg. So Connor Hellebuck. There's not much else to say. Next, Mateo, Vegas.
Vegas, I hate their jerseys, those sparkly things. Get that shit out of here.
All right, next, Ryan, Edmonton.
Connor McDavid, he's pretty good at hockey.
All right, Chris, back up to you, Minnesota.
Henko Kaprizov, the MVP.
All right, I got the Leafs. Slumping as of late. They'll get back to it soon. Next, Mateo, New Jersey.
Sheldon Keefe redemption story.
All right, Ryan, Dallas.
Jake Ottinger's got to be a bit better, but he's still been pretty good.
All right, Chris, Carolina.
Team took a dip, but I'm sure they'll bounce back.
All right, me, Colorado. They're coming back. They're storming back. All right, Mateo, Florida.
Florida, Kachuk is goated, and they might win the cup again this year.
All right, Ryan, LA.
Hanze Kopitar needs more love. Guy's a legend.
Okay, Chris, Tampa.
Losing Stamkos affected them a little bit.
All right, me, Columbus. Shocking. They're shocking me, but hey, Werenski is him. Next, Mateo, Calgary.
Unexpected, very unexpected. Nazem Kadri, very underrated.
All right, Boston for you, Ryan.
Kids, sign your contracts because when you wait out, you stop slow.
Chris, Vancouver.
Elias Pettersson.
Fair.
Oh,
Right,
it's better.
me, Ottawa. Literally nothing. Don't care. Nothing to say. Mateo, Montreal.
I do not like Montreal. Slavkovsky's a bum and a true bust. Also, I hate Lane Hudson.
All right, Ryan, St. Louis.
Not much to say, but they whipped Chicago in the Winter Classic.
All right, Chris, Detroit.
Cam Talbot, former All-Star. He looks pretty good this year.
All right, me, Philadelphia. They're just not good. They're just not good. Mitchkov sucks. I don't care. Next, Mateo, Pittsburgh.
Hopefully they make the playoffs, or I will jump off a cliff.
Okay, Ryan, New York Rangers.
I hate everything about them except for the fact that they traded Jacob Trouba.
Okay, and Chris, you got Utah.
Definitely in real world mode, but Vejmelka looks pretty good. And we all know that he's beat the Phoenix, Arizona Coyotes.
All right, I got Anaheim. Trevor Zegras, he stinks, and Dostal's kind of coming back down to earth. He's still good though. Mateo, you got New York Islanders.
What is there to say about New York Islanders except Lou Lamoriello and cutting your hair?
Okay, Ryan, Seattle Kraken.
Shane Wright should have been first overall.
Wow.
That's
Buffalo
nasty.
Sabres, Chris.
They've been bad for such a long time. I have nothing to say about them.
All right, I got Nashville. What happened? What happened? As simple as that. Mateo, San Jose Sharks.
Celebrini's been very surprising, and he's gonna be a future legend.
All right, and wrap up Ryan, Chicago Blackhawks.
I feel so bad for Connor Bedard. Poor guy. Poor guy. Get him some help.
All right. Well, that's it for the 5 minute drill. There's our quick little opinions about each team. So now that we did that, let's
Dante,
just,
I gotta cut
yeah,
off here
yeah,
because I got the standings here, buddy. I got the
yeah.
standings here, and
What?
I see what you did. I
What did
see
I
what you
do?
did. You looked at me too.
What did
You
I
gave
do?
Mateo Pittsburgh and me the Rangers when the Rangers are 23rd and the Penguins are 24th.
In my defense, you're right. You're correct. But in my defense, you're looking at the updated standings. I had the standings before today. So,
I'm gonna say,
it's
all I'm gonna
on me.
say,
It's my mistake. But does anyone have a bone to pick with what anyone said? Because I was kind of okay with it, except for Elias Pettersson. He sucks. He's shit.
He was
yeah,
a
he hasn't
well
been great.
rookie of the year. You know, he's been great this year,
I
but I'm
mean,
sure
he
he'll
needs
He's
find a
gonna
way
to.
to
he's gonna
bounce
get
back.
traded, bro. Him and
No
I'm
JT
sure he'll find a way
Miller.
to bounce back.
He's been terrible, and I know that because I have him in fantasy, and he sucks. He has 29 points in 37 games. What are you doing? How are you not even a point per game? What are you doing out there? It's been pissing
Look,
me off.
look, if Vancouver trades him, I'm sure he'll find a way to bounce back when he
Well,
goes to a little bit of a better team or something like
either
that.
him or
Well,
JT Miller is getting bounced. They
well,
can't
what
seem to
happened?
fucking
What
do
happened to
anything.
Vancouver? I
I
thought they were
have
going to
no
be good this
idea.
year.
Same
JT Miller
here.
had to leave. It made Elias Pettersson not feel good. Now they fight every practice and they can't do anything.
Yeah, like it's
Allegedly,
rough.
Yeah.
It's
allegedly.
rough. Did anyone else have any problems?
No problems. Just Columbus has been very surprising this year. I don't know how
Yeah,
long they
they
can
have
keep it
been.
up for, but I do like the way they've been playing. It's been pretty solid, and I kind of want them to see him squeak into the wild card over there.
They actually look pretty good. Like even like I watched a few of their games recently and I was like, man, this team doesn't like, when you watch a team like that competing, like I remember in the past watching the Islanders when they were making the playoffs, barely squeaking in. I'm like, bro, this team is not that good. Like they're barely squeaking in the playoffs, but they're not that good. Like you can just tell. But watching Columbus, I'm actually like, you know what? This is a solid team. Like it's giving me deja vu back to a few years ago. I guess longer than a few years ago now, but when they knocked Tampa out in the first
Oh
round,
yeah.
that was just
Yeah.
insane. That team was so crazy though, thinking about who was on that team, like that was such a nasty team. I actually miss those days. Actually, no, I don't, because the Leafs are getting knocked out in the first round. Well,
They
what else
still
is new, I
are.
guess.
I miss those days, I'll tell you that much.
It's crazy because it's like Boston will find a way to make the playoffs. They have such a good system in place. They'll find a way to make the playoffs and win against the Leafs again. Somehow they'll play against the Leafs and then they'll win. Because
Yeah,
that's
They
how this
probably will. They probably
they
will.
would beat the
Like
it
Leafs,
honestly.
happens every single year.
but its system's so good after like Jim Montgomery left. Like, is it still a good system?
We're about to find out
I
this
don't
year.
know. Like I haven't been impressed with the Bruins. They're so streaky. Like
Well,
they
their
haven't looked.
goalie's purple.
Swayman has looked rough.
Yeah.
He's looked
I
really rough.
I
He's been
definitely
better the
think the
past
loss
few
of
games,
all
though.
He has been. He's been
Yeah.
getting back to form, I guess. But I don't know. People after last year, after what he did in the playoffs, were like, "Oh, Vesna, like he has a chance at Vesna this year." Not even
He
close.
pulled a
I
Not even
Le'Veon Bell.
close.
He decided to hold out for money. So
Yeah, like honestly, he's not close. But anyways, let's get into the playoff race and like what we think's going on. So obviously we know who's leading the divisions. So the Leafs are leading. We're just gonna go with the East today. Maybe we'll get in the West next time. But leading the East, Eastern Conference in general is the Capitals, and they're leading with the Devils in second, Hurricanes in third, and then in the Atlantic, Leafs are in first, Panthers in second, Lightning in third. Wouldn't say really any surprises there other than the Capitals just having an insane year. But I think Leafs are expected to be up there. Panthers were. Lightning, oh, some people thought they were going to slow down, but still, I think everyone knows they're still a solid team. And Devils, Hurricanes, everyone knew the Devils were going to have a good year this year. It was like last year. Everyone last year was like, "Oh, Devils are going to be good this year," and they weren't. They said it again this year. This year they actually are. Hurricanes as expected. But what do you guys think about the wild card? Because right now it's Columbus and Boston. Uh, I believe are they in those spots? I believe are.
Yeah, Columbus and
Yeah,
Boston.
Blue Jackets and Bruins are in the first and second wild card, but like from top to bottom, it's within 11 points. So it's really anyone's game. So what do you guys think?
I definitely think that Ottawa and Montreal could find a way to slip into the playoffs. I think Montreal has a pretty good goaltending with Montembeault Blanc and even Cole Caulfield playing pretty good this year. Same with the Senators. All Mark and Tkachuk have been pretty decent this year, and I'm surprised with Boston. Like they're right there with Ottawa. Swayman and Allmark, like it seemed like they kind of needed each other to play better. It's kind of like a goalie competition going on.
Hmm.
So that sort of I feel like influenced them to be better, and that's why they were so good together. But then when they split, it's like now we have Boston and Ottawa pretty much in the same place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the wild card standings just make me sad. Um, you know, I think that it'll end up being probably Ottawa and Columbus that get in. I don't think Boston makes it. I just don't think the coaching will be there down the stretch. Could be wrong. You never know. But yeah, like I think Ottawa, once they're in, they're a team that'll be good in the playoffs. They have a gritty leader. But, you know, the wild card race makes me sad.
Yeah, I don't blame you, honestly. Like the one thing I gotta say though about the Bruins is like now looking at it, I guess I didn't really like fully take it in because I don't really pay attention to goal differential too often, but they're minus 22. That is terrible. Like, you look at all the teams behind them, they have the worst goal differential other than I believe, oh, sorry, the Pittsburgh
You had to do
Penguins.
it. You had to do
So
it.
I honestly didn't know. I honestly didn't know. I just saw minus 36. I'm like, who's that? Oh,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But no, pretty much every other team behind them, they have a worse goal differential than. Like that's rough. Like that's really bad. And on that, like now that I say that, and on the flip side, you look at the goal differential of the top teams, like, Florida's +8, Leafs are +9, Washington's +47. What? Like, what the fuck? Like,
Logan
that's
Thompson, man.
insane.
Logan Thompson's the goal. He's
Logan
so under.
Thompson's been
Should have
sick.
made Team Canada. I don't care what anybody
Man,
says.
he's playing out of his mind.
Plus,
I know.
Hovey only plays in the offensive zone, so they can get quick guys out there and on defense. Hovey changed puck use the zone.
Yeah, actually, can we talk about that, Ovi? Because I have nothing against Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin, he's a legend. He's a legend. No one can deny that. He's going to break Wayne Gretzky's record for most goals of all time. That's
Against
crazy.
the
That's
Penguins,
insane.
probably.
Yeah, honestly, probably. But that's insane. Good for him. That's like no one thought that record was going to be touched. So, yeah, he's a great player. But man, when you watch a Capitals game, that guy literally stands there a statue. And then as soon as that puck comes out of the zone, he is gunning for the bench. It's like, man, like I love him. I have nothing wrong with him, but like it's so obvious that he's not the player he once was, and he's just got to kind of play offense, and that's it. He can't do anything else. And it's so obvious. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still got, I don't know how many goals does he have this year? He still has a good amount of goals in the games he's played. Like, I think he's got, let me double check. He's got 20 goals in 28 games. That's insane. That's
That's really
absurd.
good. Yeah, that's
Like,
really
don't get
good.
me wrong, that is insane.
Yeah,
But like when you watch how he's getting them, it's like the old Ovi where, he has his office, he stands up there right near the hash marks for that one timer, but like he's at the top of the circle all the time.
but
Like that's it. That's
it's not
it.
even like old Hovey because he doesn't even bend his knees anymore. He's just standing there. He's the laziest player in the goddamn league, and yet it works because his shot is so good. But he
I
is
know.
doing the thing that like say they never want to do, and it is when you aren't good enough to be in the league, you shouldn't be there. And Ovi's lucky that the Capitals want him to get this record because yes, it's Alexander Ovechkin. He's a legend. No one can take that from him. But if you are looking at a guy who won't like struggles defensively, tries not to play it, and just like stands there and doesn't move in the offensive zone, yes, he's putting in the net, but that is not like that valuable of an asset to your team in close games. Like he's
Yeah.
good on the power play. If your team can't get in the offensive zone, he's invisible. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
tough.
think unfortunately for him, like he's having a great year. Don't get me wrong, like in the sense of offense, like he's still having a great year.
Oh
But
yeah.
I think that the playoffs, especially, will like really shine a light on how bad he is for the team in the sense of as a whole, like on defense and everything. Because in the playoffs, it's not as easy as, hey, let me stand at the top of the circle here, wait for a pass. If I don't get it, I get off the ice because that's like having a player that you can only use at certain times. Whereas in the playoffs, you need guys you can put out there all the time. You need guys that can play all game. You're going double overtime. Like you need guys that are going out there no problem, playing defense, playing offense, but you can't be making like stupid changes or anything like that in the playoffs. Like it'll just be like magnified to another extent.
Yeah,
But
and need to make this very clear. We all love Alexander Ovechkin. This is not to
yes,
try and shit on him. Like, unbelievable career, top 10
yes,
player of time, great, great goal scorer, like best ever. But come on, man. I know the Gretzky record's close, but it was time last offseason, and it's getting hard to watch, even though you're still putting them in the net. It's just really tough to watch the rest of your game. Like your shot's elite still, but
yeah,
the rest of your game, man, it's tough.
yeah. He'll see this for sure. So
Yeah,
I would still want him on
I'll
my
get it
team
to him.
though if he's getting the goals. He has 20 goals in 28
Well, that's
games.
but
because
do you?
I do. Yeah.
you care about the defensive zone and just blame the goalie for everything instead of the
Just
defenseman.
put just put a defensive centerman on his line, and there you go. If he's getting goals in their
You're still
offensive zone the whole
shorthanded.
time, when are you gonna put Ovi on the penalty kill? Never.
You're not, but when you're shorthanded every shift he's on 'cause he doesn't want to go to the defensive zone.
Yeah, so get third line and fourth line players on there. But
But
anyway,
he's on the ice, buddy.
what are you talking about? What do you mean he's on the ice? He'll never be on the penalty kill.
When Ovi's on the
Okay, whatever.
What I'm saying is I'm saying you're shorthanded when he's on the ice and the puck leaves the offensive zone.
Oh, I
Not
see
that
what
you're
you
actually
mean. Oh, I see
shorthanded.
what you
You just
mean.
base only have four usable guys out there.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. But what Dante was talking about with the playoffs, I think there's a chance that he might try to turn it up a bit. We've seen him turn it up a bit during that cup run, but maybe he doesn't have the gas in the tank anymore for that type of run anymore, especially with the Cavs first in first place. So I don't know. That's something we gotta keep a lookout. Especially he just broke his leg, which is not the greatest thing for your speed.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
moving on, Dante.
Yeah, yeah, just final thoughts on that. I was just gonna say, yeah, to that point of the playoffs, with how well Washington is doing, they might be sitting atop the Metro, no problem, and he might get to rest for a good while at the end of the year, and that could play a big factor in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Getting a guy, a 39-year-old resting and coming out fresh, that could be pretty
I
huge.
mean,
But
he did also score the overtime winner in a 1-0 win against the Sens
he
tonight for
did.
his 21st goal in 29 games.
Yeah, he did. And yeah, that was the game actually I was referring to because I was watching the Leaf game and the highlights of the Washington game came after. And literally every play you just see Ovechkin standing at the top of the circle. But then in overtime he did kind of snipe one. So like I can't really be mad. They were on a 2-on-1 and he sniped it. So like,
There
hey,
you
he
go.
still got the shot.
Oh,
But
no doubt he'll have it for the rest
there's
of his
no
life.
doubt. There's no doubt. But
Best shot in the league.
yeah, okay. I don't know about that. But anyways, move let's move on to our predict. Let's get our predictions in there. So we'll start off with you, Chris. We'll go down to me, then Mateo, then Ryan. Chris, start me off. Tell me what's your playoff prediction. I want 1 to 3 in each division, and I want the two wild cards. Who do you think's making it through?
Honestly, I think 1 to 3 in the Atlantic will probably stay the same, just of the way like everything's been trending. I think the Leafs, like a streaky team. Like they play good when they have to play good, but I think the loss of Tavares might affect them a little bit. But I do think they'll still have that number 1 seed, Florida number 2, because just Bobrovsky's unreal as a goalie. And Tampa's going to stay at
Having a
3.
not so good year though. But anyways, continue.
And then in the Metropolitan, if Washington can keep it up, they should be number 1. But the Devils can overtake them if Washington does start to slow down over there. And then Carolina, I think, even it's the same thing. Like Carolina, if they get hot, they can overtake Washington. And if Washington gets cold, we know what's going to happen. They're going to drop. For the wild card, I think I said this earlier. I think Ottawa and Montreal would slip. I'm also kind of biased. It'd be nice to see some more Canadian teams in the playoffs going in. We've seen Boston in the playoffs every year. They don't really do too much damage. Sorry, Boston fans.
They
But
do enough
Columbus,
damage.
Columbus, I I kind of want to see Columbus make it because they've been kind of bad the last couple of years. And Columbus fans, you guys deserve a break. They look good this year. They're
Yeah.
decent enough to make the wild card, and that's something that we have to keep our eyes out on.
Yeah. That's fair. Honestly, mine's pretty simple. I think same as you. I think the Atlantic is going to stay exactly how it is. I think actually I could see Florida passing Toronto. That's a tough one. That's a coin flip to me. I could see it either way, but I do think Tampa's still going to be the third. Even though they've been good, man. They could even overtake both Toronto and Florida. Been good. Like they got a plus 35 differential as well. Like man, they've been good, but I still think it'll stay as is. Maybe Florida swaps with the Leafs. On the other side, as much as like if you asked me this like a couple weeks ago, I would be like, "Oh, Washington's going to drop eventually." They're not. They're like as much as I kept thinking, "Oh, eventually they're going to. Eventually they're going to." Not that I was hoping they would. I just thought they were. Man, they're good. They're really good. They're going to stay atop, and I think only thing I think is going to swap there is I do think Carolina will pass New Jersey. I just think Carolina is a much better defensive team. I think they're a little more well seasoned as well than the Devils. So I think they'll finish second. Devils will finish third, and then wild card honestly is a coin flip to me. I think I want to say the Rangers are actually gonna get back to where they should be, but I just think Shesterkin could turn their season around. That's the only reason. Um, but no, I can't go with the Rangers. I'm gonna have to go with the Senators. Olmark's looked great lately. Slowed down a bit now, but he was looking great. I think he can lead them to the playoffs, and I think as unfortunate as it is, I think Boston's just gonna, do, and every time I think they're gonna slow down, they're just gonna somehow. You know what? No, I'm not even gonna say that because I'm just sick of Boston. No, it's gonna be Ottawa and Detroit. I don't care. I'm done with Boston. Screw them. Screw Montreal too. I'm not putting them in there. And I just think Columbus eventually is gonna start to slow down and they're gonna drop out of the playoffs. But I'm going Ottawa, Detroit. That's my pick. So, anyways, Mateo, you take over.
Okay, so for the Atlantic, I agree with Dante. I think Florida is going to overtake the Leafs. I just think they're just a better team. I think it's going to be in the first round with Toronto and Tampa. Hopefully, there's no lightning in the bottle this time because I don't like the Leafs. The Metro, I think it'll mostly stay the same. Like Dante said again, I think the Hurricanes may overtake the Devils. The Capitals, I think Logan Thompson's just playing too good right now, and they're young guys with Protas and McMichael are just playing out of their minds right now. I don't know how, but they are. Wild card. I'm rooting for the Blue Jackets. I do not think they're going to have the first wild card by the end of the season. I think they'll be around the second. I think the Bruins are going to make it. They always have. They always make it. Brad Marchand, David Pastrnak, they just have the experience to make it through the playoffs. But a sneaky wild horse I could see making it is the Montreal Canadiens. And somehow, when they make the playoffs, they usually make a sneaky run when they make it. I don't want them to do that, but I could see a very possible outcome of that happening.
All right, I got quite a few changes here. So I think the Leafs slide down to two, but I think Tampa jumps up to one. Florida goes down to three. I think, at this point in time, Jake Gensel is a better hockey player than Steven Stamkos. It's just taking time to get used to it. He's still over a point per game this year, at least the last time I checked. He's just going to keep getting better playing with elite guys. You never know what's going to happen. I think Tampa wins the Atlantic. I think as well Carolina wins the Metro with Washington going to two. And I know I said earlier that Columbus is my wild card team. I have them squeaking up into three with New Jersey falling to the wild card. And then the wild card being New Jersey and Ottawa. I mean, I wish I could put my boys in there, but we're tanking for Schaefer. So that's about it.
I like that actually. You know what? After you said that, I don't hate that at all. New Jersey, I gotta say, one thing about New Jersey is every time I watch these guys, we've beat them three times this year. We've played them three times, beat them three times. By we, I mean the Leafs. For the viewers, I know you guys know I'm a Leaf fan. But yeah, we beat them three times, and they just every time I watch them remind me of the Leafs, like of the Leafs from last year and the year before and all, they remind me just like they're identical. All
Shout
they
out
do,
Sheldon.
yeah, and he brought that system, obviously. All they do is they can't hold a lead, which the Leafs are iconic for. They can't hold a lead. Under Sheldon Keefe, we can never hold a lead. And on top of that, all they do all game is they'll get a bunch of shots on net. today they didn't really do that, but the last two times play them, they get a bunch of shots on net. They get their chances, whatever, but they're giving up 2-on-1s, they're giving up breakaways, they're giving up chances the other way. Sure, not they're not getting as many shots against, but they're giving up bigger grade A chances. And I don't think that's gonna last. Like I don't think you can last winning like that. Like you're gonna do exactly like the Leafs did in the past. Like the Leafs are always a decent regular season team. So maybe they will stick in second. I don't know. I like that you put them in the first wild card. I don't mind that at all. But like in the end, I think once playoffs start, they're going to do the exact same thing as the Leafs. They're going to put up a fight and they're going to go out in the first round. No matter who they play, to be honest, unless they somehow get put up against like Columbus or something, then
Right.
maybe I could see them beating Columbus. But if they get put up against anyone else that is in a playoff spot as of right now, they do not win. That's
They'll
just,
make it to 7 though.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They'll get to seven and then
Yeah.
they'll get their hearts broken. What else is new, right?
Yeah, you're used to that.
But yeah, so enough talking about each of the teams. Let's get into some of the players now. So right now, looking at the leaders in the league, leading points, Nathan McKinnon. Can't really say that's a shock. Great player, obviously. Leading goals, Leon Draisaitl. Also, can't really say that's a shock. He's Leon Draisaitl. Or McDavid's sidekick. That also helps him lead goals. Let's just be real. Um, and then leading save percentage, Connor Hellebuck. Really not any surprises, I gotta be honest. Like, sure, you could have other guys in there at the start of the year that you thought might be leading. Like, I'm sure a lot of people thought McDavid would be leading points. I'm sure a lot of people thought Kucherov would be leading points. I'm sure people thought Matthews would be leading goals. There's a bunch of names you could put in there for all of these, but like it's not anything surprising. It's not like McMichael's leading points, which start of the year it was looking a little close. But anyways, how do you guys feel about players that are in the leaders right now? Is there anyone you think is going to drop out? Is there anyone you think is underperforming, overperforming? What do you guys think? Start with forwards, the forward leaders.
All right, all right. Mitch Marner is a surprise for me this year. Usually he's always overshadowed by Marner on this list. I mean, by Matthews on this list. Sorry, Leafs fans. But I think Marner, he looks good this year. I don't want him to slow down, but I think he might slow down a little bit. But it'll be more later in the year when Tavares comes back. Now that Tavares was put on IR today, I don't see him stopping. I know, Dante, you were telling me before that Marner has a chance of being up 100-point leader this year, which is possible. He's on pace. There's like 45 games left. He only needs less than 40 to hit that. So
Yeah,
it's really possible that Marner can do that.
he wants his
Un
money.
Unfortunately, my guy, Kirill Kaprizov, fell off of the top 10 list. He was there earlier this year. That was just because he was injured and on IR. But when he comes back, I think he'll slip into the top 10 again when he comes back.
Hmm.
With goalies, I feel bad for Anthony Stolarz because he's just been there for such a long time. And it's because he was injured. But again, when Stolarz comes back, I'm sure the Leafs will do a lot better than they're doing right now.
Who knows? Wall will be gone by then.
It's gonna that a knock at Joseph Wall.
No,
Wall,
no.
well, Wall's gonna get injured before Stolarz is healthy. So I hope he doesn't. Don't want to wish injury on anyone, but uh,
Stolarz has just had a great season this year.
Yeah.
It's been a better
Yeah.
season than Wolves.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No debate.
for looking at these forward here, I think someone needs to drug test Travis Konechny because he's not that guy. He's not a point per game player. I'm sorry. Don't know what's going on over in punch opposing fan land over in Philly, but it's just someone needs to drug test him. He's like great player, 60, 70 point guy. He's at 53 and 46. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Some like goalie's got to get better. Like, this guy should not be at 53. Great player. Nothing against him except for that he plays for the Flyers and I'm a Penguins fan. But he's got to get down there. But of course, Nathan McKinnon, unreal. And for goals here, Team Sweden, you forgot a guy. Ever since they made that roster, Rickard Rakell, hottest player in the league. If probably not the hottest player, but top 5 hottest players in the league. Not just looks wise, scoring wise too. Unbelievable.
Mateo, what are your thoughts on leaders?
I feel very strongly about number 9 in the point leader, Mark Scheifele. He proved Don Sweeney fucking wrong after he saw that Team Canada roster, man. They're playing system. Oh, Anthony Cirelli. Oh, the penalty kill. Get the fuck out of here. Mark Scheifele deserves to be on that fucking team. Ninth in points, fucking second in goals. Like, what the fuck are they thinking? Oh, he's slow. I was talking to someone about this. He's slow. He's slow. What do you mean he's slow? He's fucking ninth in points, second in goals. Marky Mark saw that and he went fucking off. Like, I can't believe that fucking team. Where's Seth Jarvis, guys? Where's Seth Jarvis on this list? I can't find Seth Jarvis. Like, that was such a fucking terrible, terrible move and not putting Mark Scheifele on there. I'm proud of him, though. I'm proud of him. And on goaltending, you know what? Number 5, Mackenzie Blackwood. That's actually a quick turnaround for playing from the fucking San Jose Sharks to the fucking Colorado Avalanche and having that save percentage. Have a great turnaround there on the Colorado Avalanche. So I'm kind of surprised he's actually 5th on that list in the goalie area there. So yeah.
Yeah.
I have to get
Yeah,
that
no,
out
I
about Mark
completely
Scheifele.
agree.
Sorry. Oh my
No,
God.
you're right.
That
I
made me so
agree. I love
angry.
Mark Scheifele.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
fair enough.
that
Fair
hit
enough.
that hit he did on Jake
Yeah.
Evans. I still think it's clean to this day. It's still clean to this day. If you look, okay, God, okay,
That's
Montreal
late
fans
and
might come
high.
at it was not late, bro. He was going around the corner. Okay, he was going around the corner.
Scored.
No, he didn't. He was going for the hit because he was about to score. It was an empty net. He was coming around. It was 3-2. He didn't want him to score. So he hit him. Someone said, go for the puck. What is this, house league? Fucking hit him.
Okay, but principle, he should be going for the puck. If you lay the guy out, he still scored. So
Principle.
why
It's
are
playing
you
Puck
going
went in
for
the net.
hockey.
him?
The
But
puck
lay
went in
him
the net.
out.
Yeah,
No, it didn't.
It was
what was the
Before
point?
he fucking finished the hit, bro.
Not before Mateo. It still went in.
No, but it still went
No,
in. So
no,
what
it
was the
didn't,
point of
bro.
that?
No, it didn't.
It
He was
did. He
he had his
literally
head
scored.
down and he okay, I'll admit it's charging, but he went,
It's
he had his
charging
head
late and
down.
high.
He scored like right before. Hockey's a fast game.
But
He went down and
this was like
boom.
6 years ago. What are we doing?
I was still mad about this.
What are
I'm
we
still mad
doing?
about it. I was arguing with 5 different people on this.
All right, I got to be the
Anyways,
moderator on this. I'm
sorry.
cutting off, but
Boys, I'm
Mark
sweating.
Scheifele.
Sorry.
I agree with you. Mark Scheifele should have made the Canada team. I really like Mark Scheifele. I'm very high on him. But yeah, I'd say everything's pretty, like for the most part, the leaders are pretty much who I would think be up there. I guess the only name you're really missing would be like, yeah, Kaprizov should be in the top 10 in scoring, but he got hurt. Obviously, it happens. And same thing with goals. I'm sure everyone would expect Austin Matthews to be in there. He got hurt. He is in, of course, Ryan
Took a
shaking his
trip to
head.
Germany.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't really say there's huge surprises.
Maybe
Like I agree
Brad.
with Ryan.
Brad?
Yeah,
Brad
I like
surprised me.
Brat though. I'm pretty
Yeah.
high on Brat, but
Only
like
surprise is
agree.
Travis Konechny. I just looked. He's had one
I
point per game season his entire career, and he only played 60 games. And he had 61 points.
So you're dissing for no reason.
No, he had one his entire career. And other than that, he's what I said, a like 60 to 70 point guy.
Fair
Still
enough.
a
Well,
great
yeah,
hockey
no,
player. Great
I'd
NHL
agree.
career.
I'd agree. No, I
Not
wouldn't
that
think Travis Konechny would be up there either. But yeah, I'd say for the most part, everything else is pretty much as it should go. So I guess, on that topic. Well, actually, sorry, before we move on, goalie wise though, is a kind of a whole mismatch because like if someone said to you before the season, list out all the save percentage leaders, you're not putting these guys in this order at all. Like, I'm sorry, no one is. Hellebuck maybe at one, sure. No one's putting Stolarz at 2. Thompson's not going at 3. Kemper probably not going
No.
at 4. Blackwood's not going at 5 at all. Dustin wouldn't be at 6. Allmark, you'd probably honestly have a little bit higher, to be honest. I think a lot of people thought he'd have a good year, but then again, he is on Ottawa, so it is expected to go down a bit. Gustafson, Decord. Okay, Markstrom, people expected to have a good year. Vasilevsky, people expected he's Vasilevsky. Ottinger, people
Best goalie in
expected,
the
but
league.
like,
Love
where I'm just saying people would expect Shesterkin. I'm sure people would expect Shesterkin in there. I'm sure a lot of people I know thought Sorokin would have a bounce back year. I thought he might have had a bounce back year. Hasn't been that great. Bobrovsky, I'm sure everyone expected to be in there. There's a lot of names Swayman, of course, that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The goalies are all a big just scramble, but Yeah,
When's
no,
Tristan Jarry's name
honestly,
coming
Oh,
on your list here? Because I
Yeah.
expected him to be pretty good, and now
yeah,
he's playing with the young guns in
in the
Wilkes-Barre.
minor leagues. But
There's at least 8 to 10 teams who desperately need a goalie and saw Tristan Jarry for free and still said, "Nah, I'm good, bro."
Dude, Davis had enough. He had enough. You saw him in the dressing room. He said, "Get the fuck out." That's what
And
the
yet
fuck
Alex
happened.
Nedeljkovic makes $2 million less. Identical numbers, if not slightly worse. I don't know. Something's fishy here. They
He
just don't
says
like
something
him.
to
I
Kyle for
I do
sure.
have to give
Probably
I
slept with Kyle's wife,
I
allegedly.
I do have to give I do have to give like I know you guys already did, Mateo already did, but yeah, Blackwood deserves some credit for
Yeah.
coming from the San Jose Sharks and just playing great on
Halfway through the
Colorado.
year, too. It's crazy.
Yeah, like
Like a big
he's looked
new
great.
team, new system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logan Thompson has just been amazing this year, like we talked about. And honestly, Dustin Wolf, I got to give some credit to
Yeah.
on Calgary. Didn't expect this year. Like,
He's
obviously,
good.
yeah, he's good. It's simple as that. Like, he's looked good. Calgary isn't that great of a team. I wouldn't expect him to put up a, 916, but this is where we are.
Decor
So,
too.
yeah, anyways.
yeah, no, speaking of
Yeah,
people like not expecting, where did Darcy Comfort come from?
he's,
Washington.
yeah,
He's been bouncing
yeah,
around
Because
I,
teams. Yeah.
he was always all right,
Pass
but
around.
yeah, you
he's top four in save percentage and is now top 10 in shutouts in the league.
honestly, if you
It's
asked me before the year, if you said Darcy Kemper, what do you think of him? I would literally say average. He's the most like just average, just there. He's just like, yeah, he's all right, but yeah, he's played great.
he's
Yeah.
been
So
pretty good this year, and I don't know where the LA is. We'll talk about the West next time
He has
on the
an
yeah,
ass
pod.
decor too. It's like Brad Clark and Vladislav Gavrikov
Hey,
in front
Brent
of him.
the
Clark's
D
sick.
the decor isn't that great, but their
But his number
system
one
is
defenseman's Brad Clark
there.
though.
Brent Clark's sick. Maybe if Drew Doughty didn't die in preseason. Not
No,
actually that,
but
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 get injured.
honestly, their decor isn't that good, but their defensive system is top notch. Like their defensive system, they allowed the least amount of shots on goal in the entire league. Like they have a good system.
Like
They're a boring team to watch sometimes because they just shut teams down, but they got a good system.
shutouts are a team stat, not a goalie stat. That's
Facts.
I will die on that hill.
I agree.
But yeah, no, just
Not
But
always. Sometimes the goalie will have like a 45 save shutout
yeah,
if he played
Yeah.
terribly, but
but
most
for the most
shutouts are
part,
goalie
yeah.
stats.
it's just Kemper.
Tristan Jarry was the leader last year.
He just came out of nowhere for me, and this was
Yeah.
my biggest surprise on this list. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you have Vasilevsky. Gustafson's been there all year in save percentage. He's been very solid after a very rough year about 2 years ago. I remember that Minnesota goalie tandem. It was Fleury and Gustafson. They were letting like 10 goals a game. It was absolutely,
Was rough.
it was very rough and very sad as a Minnesota fan that I had to go through that. But you know what? They've bounced back pretty well, and Gustafson has improved. I think Fleury had something to do with that as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Fleury is not in our top 10, but you know,
It's my goat.
I wish he was.
It's my goat.
Maybe he's going on one last Stanley Cup run. Probably not, but
We're gonna trade for him at the deadline. We
if
need goalies.
if Fleury, if you're watching, you and Kaprasov, you gotta take us home, man.
Would rather have him on Team Canada than
Flurry,
Montembeault. Montem crap. Fuck that
Flurry, if
guy.
you're watching, you can have my firstborn child. I love you.
But yeah, so let's just do we'll get into a quick MVP and Norris prediction.
Mhm.
What we'll do is we'll do a quick MVP prediction, Norris, and then tell me who you think's going to finish leading each stat by the end of the year of the ones with points, goals, and save percentage.
Do you want to do Calder too,
And
actually?
we could do
Dante?
Calder as well if you
Yeah,
want to do
Calder.
Calder.
An opportunity to say Matt Vey isn't winning something. There we go.
All right. Yeah, sure. We'll do Calder too.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll start with you, Chris. So basically just tell me who you think is going to lead points, goals, save percentage, who's winning MVP, who's winning Knowles, and who's winning Calder.
All right, points. I'm gonna leave it as McKinnon. I don't really see him slowing down, and he's just Nathan McKinnon. Nothing else you can say about that. Vesna, I'm leaving as Connor Hellebuck. He's been unreal these last couple seasons, and he's just gonna take another one home. For MVP, my totally unbiased opinion, like I think it's gonna be Kaprizov because without him, Minnesota's been slipping in the standings a little bit. And Kaprizov at that first, like the beginning of the year before he got hurt, is practically Minnesota's offense going on. So without him, it's pretty much just nothing. And then what was the other one? It was the
Norris.
Norris. Norris, I don't want to say Cale Makar, but I will. I think Cale Makar is a pretty good defenseman. And then for rookie, I'm gonna go with Celebrini. He's been pretty good for San Jose. And I think he's like he'll turn the franchise, not turn it around completely, but somewhat make San Jose relevant again for the first time in years.
All right, fair enough. You missed goals though. Who do you think's leading goals?
Oh, my bad. Uh, I think Scheifele might take over Draisaitl. I think he'll be pissed about the whole Team Canada thing, and he'll just go on this map heater that'll just overtake Draisaitl.
Wow. Okay, I don't hate it at all. I like Mark Scheifele. Got nothing wrong with him. Mateo was over here celebrating.
Yes.
If
Um,
I'm
He just won't be
mispronouncing the
confident.
names, I'm sorry.
No, it's you said it perfectly.
Yeah, you said it perfect. But no, I don't hate the Mark Scheifele pick. All I'm gonna say though is that his most goals in his career was 42 3 years ago, and I don't know if 42 is gonna win the Rocket. But hey,
The
stranger things have happened.
Yeah,
the
but
Trade
Travis
rage is
deadline.
gonna
Konecny
push him
getting up there in
over.
points.
Don
What
Sweeney.
rage?
Fuck Don Sweeney. The rage, bro. I'm
But
telling you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The
Fuck Don
rage,
Sweeney.
Scheifele.
Say it with me.
Exactly. He's gonna go with this massive heater and he's gonna score as many goals as he can before the season's over. And I kind of hope it happens because he should be on Team Canada.
All right, well, I'll make mine pretty quick because we got a few other things we got to touch upon very soon. So, um, I agree. McKinnon probably gonna end up leading points. If anything, I might put Kucherov there just because even with missing 4 games, he is only 5 points behind. But I'll stick with McKinnon there. Goals, I think it's still gonna be Draisaitl. I don't think anyone's passing him to be honest. Um, Save percentage, Hellebuck, like it's let's be real. Yeah, so now for the awards. We also didn't put Vesna in here, just so everyone knows, because
It's
we
Connor
would all just
Hellebuck.
be saying Connor Hellebuck. So like what's the point of hearing us repeat the same name, all four of us? So, anyways, MVP, I think the MVP is gonna end up going to honestly, I think Kucherov might win it. I think Kucherov might get it. I think that Tampa team is not the same without Nikita Kucherov at all. Um, it's not even close, to be honest. So yeah, as simple as that. And it's Kucherov. And then what was it? Norris. It's Cale Makar. Ryan hates him. He's a fucking good defenseman, man.
Ryan
He's
does in
gonna
fact hate him. He hates
he
him a
he's
lot.
Yeah.
he's gonna win the Norris. I'm sure he's gonna rant about it when he gets to do his picks, but Kel McCarr is gonna win. He's gonna win the Norris. He's got 50 points in 20 and sorry, 45 games. Um, he's a great defenseman. Simple as that. And Calder, I'm gonna agree with Chris as well. Macklin Celebrini, almost a point per game. Impressive, having a pretty good rookie year. And I also don't like Mitchkov, and I also don't like Lane Hudson. So, I'm biased, not gonna lie, but it's Macklin Celebrini. So, anyways, Mateo, you take over now.
Okay, so I'll say who leads in points. I think it's gonna be Mac again. Mac has been great, amazing the past 2 seasons. I don't think Kucherov or Draisaitl will catch up to him. And goals, you know what? Chris said Shifley was all I was gonna say, but I think the guy that I said at the beginning of the year in the final whistle in our previous podcast is Sam Reinhart. You know what? I'm sticking with Sam Reinhart. I think Sam Reinhart is gonna take over Leon Draisaitl in that and get the Rocket Richard. Um, and then if we're going an MVP. I think this is the year where a goaltender wins. I think Connor Hellebuck has a good chance of winning MVP. If out of all the years where a goalie wins the MVP, I think Connor Hellebuck totally deserves it. A 929 save percentage is totally fucking crazy. Like that is absolutely insane. 27 wins, only 6 losses. Like, I think he really deserves the MVP. And then if we're going Norris, you know what? I'm gonna give it to Zach Growinski. He's carrying the Blue Jackets right now on his back. Obviously, he's getting help now from Marchenko and Voronkov, but I think just because of his team is a little bit less skilled than Caleb McCarr's. I think he has a better chance of winning it. And if we're going for the Calder, um, because everyone's gonna probably say Celebrini. I don't like him, but because he's close to the most defensive in points, I think Lane Hudson might win the Calder this year, just because of how many points he has as a
Because he does a
defenseman,
few head fakes.
and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
does the
Don't
yeah,
get
head.
votes
yeah.
for head fakes.
Apparently, in the NHL might think so. So I'm just gonna put Lane Hudson there for now. So yeah, those are my predictions.
All right,
Okay.
here comes the absurd prediction.
Nah,
Anyways,
I'll
go
keep
ahead.
it simple till it can't be simple. So if we look at points, Nathan McKinnon, love ya. 2 words, Connor McDavid. Set. He's gonna lead it.
Oh, that's a
We look
crazy
at goals.
take. I don't
We
know.
look at goals. Keep it simple, Leon Draisaitl. Keep it moving. Look at save percentage. Don't even want to say it because you already did. It's Connor Hellebuck. And now's where we get interesting. You look at MVP. In what world is the point leader and like the MVP and a guy who, no offense to you, Chris, love Kirill, not even top 10 in points. Yes, he missed time, falls out of it. Like, no, not MVP. If it's a goalie, love Hellebuck, best goalie. Most valuable goalie this year is Logan Thompson. Washington was supposed to be terrible. And like it could be Kucherov, but at the same time, if McKinnon wins in points, it's Nathan McKinnon. But I'm giving it to Connor McDavid because that's who I have leading in points.
I think though,
Wait,
I sorry
let's.
to cut you off, Ryan, but I just
I
think
didn't cut
it's.
you off, buddy.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry. I'm
I'm joking.
sorry.
You're good.
I
You're
just
good. You're good.
I said that because just because he was splitting with Charlie Lindgren, that they might not give
Fair.
it to him. That's
No,
the
that's
reason
fair.
why.
I
Yeah,
agree he's the best goalie, but if a goalie is the most valuable goalie is Logan
I agree
Thompson,
though. Yeah,
in
I
my
agree.
opinion.
Yeah,
And then for the Norris, I agree with you, Mateo Zachorensky, because great defenseman. Gonna say this now. Buddy sucks defensively when that top line isn't on the ice. He, I don't have his career numbers here, but I'm almost positive, could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. He is a minus when Nathan McKinnon is not on the ice. He is terrible without him. Great defenseman, don't get me wrong. Didn't deserve his Norris when he won it because Roman Josi was better that year. Just didn't make the playoffs, which shouldn't matter for the best defenseman award. And Zach Werenski is doing it on a team that has a bunch of nobodies, whereas Cale Makar is doing it on a team that has the current point leader and one of the most stacked rosters in the NHL. And now to keep it simple again for the Calder, Macklin Celebrini. Guy's sick.
I like that. Um, you know what? Since we actually didn't too much there, but a few different opinions. But I did kind of request this for this episode. I wanted to have a little talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then we'll get into a little game of agree or disagree, and then we'll get into a little bit of football to finish things up. But I just wanted to have a little talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm the only Toronto Maple Leafs fan here. Chris, it is his second team. I know he still does pull for them a bit. But I just wanted to talk about them real because they have a really interesting situation right now that they haven't really gone through yet this year. Everyone this year has seen this new Craig Berube Maple Leafs rougher team, rough and tough team. And, throughout the whole year, they got a few losses here and there, whatever, but everyone's like, you know what? It's how it goes. You're not going to win every game. But then, we came to this point where they beat the Bruins 6-4. Great game. They played good. They played a good game. They beat Philly 3-2 in overtime. Not their best game, didn't play the best, but it's all right. Then they beat Philly 3-2 again. That's pretty good. It's hard to beat the same team twice in a row. That's pretty good. And it was in Philly. Then they go and play Carolina. They lose 6-3. Didn't look so great, but it's like, you know what? You're playing a good team. You're playing Carolina. What can you do? Then was the bad game. They played absolutely atrocious against Vancouver. Got shut out 3-0 at home. Got booed off the ice. Terrible game. They played terrible. It was the worst game I've seen them play in a long time. They played really bad. I actually missed a lot of the game because I was at the airport, but I got to rewatch the game a little bit. They did not play well. And then they lost 4-1 to Dallas at home. And the frustrating thing is they didn't play that bad, but when you play not so great against Carolina, you play a terrible game against Vancouver, and then you play an okay game, that's not gonna be accepted. You should be coming out playing as hard as you can. You should be playing your best game of the season. So they lose 4-1 to Dallas. They get booed off the ice again for the second time at home. And then They come back, they play New Jersey tonight, and they beat New Jersey. They play a game. They beat Sheldon Keefe's New Jersey Devils. Thought the Devils would win that game. Thought Keefe was going to be coming in looking to win after he lost twice to us. Beat them in overtime. Barely scraped it out. Matthews tied it up with like 6 minutes left. Um, but in the end, what I'm trying to say is they've looked shaky lately, and I don't know if I'm trying to be an optimistic Leaf fan, but I think it's just a little bit of a slump. Everyone goes through a slump. It happens. It's just a little frustrating in how they've looked in the games they've lost. Walls looked a little shaky lately. I think we need Stolarz back. I think Wall isn't really ready to play every other night. Like that's not his thing. He is a split goalie. He is a goalie that does better when he's on a little more rest, when he's splitting. Obviously, probably doesn't help with all the injuries he's had in his career already. But yeah, I just basically wanted to on that and just say like I want to keep an eye on them. Obviously, I'm a Leaf fan. I'm gonna watch every game, but like I mean, like keep an eye on them in the sense of like, is this a little slump or are the Leafs going back to their old ways and Craig Berube didn't change as much as people thought he changed the team? I don't know. It's interesting, but it's a little bit scary. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit scary. But I'm done talking about the Leafs. No one else wants to talk about the Leafs. Let's be honest, and we need to move on because we don't have too much
Wait,
time.
Dante,
So,
before we go, quick question.
yes,
Just so
yes,
if the playoffs are set now, right? And do you
yes.
think the Leafs can make it past the second round? They'll be playing either Florida or Tampa. Do you honestly, like, I'm actually serious. Do you think right now, do you have confidence they could beat Florida or Tampa?
Like, are you saying, do I
Well,
have confidence they could beat either one, or do I have confidence, like, which one do I have
Either
more
one,
confidence
either
in?
one, either one.
Oh, either one, either one, either one. I'll be honest. As much as I want to say yes as an optimistic Leaf fan, like, I'm trying to be optimistic, like, I- they both scare me. They both terrify me. And I, I honestly think we probably go to seven with both of them. And I honestly think it doesn't go our way in both of them. Um, I'm kind of looking at it more as if we can lock up first in this division, at least we can play a wild card team
You
and
play
maybe
Columbus right now, if it ended
I was
today.
gonna say maybe play Columbus or like Ottawa or someone like that. That I could see us beating. I honestly in the East, just looking at the East, I don't see them beating Florida. I don't see them beating Tampa. I don't see them beating Carolina. And I want to say I see them beating Washington, but again, with how Washington's playing, I think Washington beats us. I think the only team in the top there is the Devils that I could see us beating. Well, we have beat them 3 times this year, but not even just that. Like what I said earlier, I think they're going to be like the Leafs in the playoffs. Um, no, you're right. I don't have confidence that we beat Florida or Tampa. I really don't. Um, I think maybe Boston's time is up. I could see us beating Boston, even though obviously there's the whole, curse, but or curse, whatever you want to call it. But I do see us beating Boston. I think we're a better team than them, but I don't know if we're a better team than Florida or Tampa. I really don't think so, to be honest. Um, but yeah, so anyways, we'll move on to my agree or disagrees. So basically, how this works is I'm going to say a take, not a take I necessarily agree with. I'm going to answer as well. And Chris, me, Mateo, and Ryan are going to say whether we agree or disagree. And then we'll have a little discussion right after. If anyone has, if we all agree, we all agree. But if someone disagrees, whatever, we'll have a little conversation about it. Okay. So everyone ready?
Yep.
First
yeah,
one. First one is obviously going to be a Leaf one. Let's be real. Um, Austin Matthews is still a top five player in the NHL. Chris, with you.
agree. When
Okay,
he's unreal, Matthews is like, yeah, I have no words to like describe how unreal Matthews is when he plays.
fair. I'm going to say agree as well. I'm a little bit of a biased Leaf fan. Let's be real. But I think when Matthews is healthy, he is no debate top five player in the NHL. Guy can put up 70 goals, no problem. Can put up 100 points. Good defensively. What more do you want? Mateo.
I'm itching to say disagree, but agree. Yeah, I can't say with a straight face saying this. I love to hate the guy, but he's just been injured this year, and it's not been his year this year. Maybe there's a captain's curse, but agree.
He's
All right,
right
Ryan.
there. Slightly disagree. I'd have him at six right now
Okay.
because
Okay,
he
it's in the
would be
top
number
10.
five.
Yeah.
He would be number five if the team didn't look worse when he plays than when he doesn't play. in my opinion, watching them, they look worse when he's out there than when he's not. So if like just for clarity, I'll name the guys that have above him. No, in no particular order. Kenan, Kucherov, Draisaitl, McDavid, Ranton. That's it. Nobody else.
Okay.
But it's
That's
just
fair. But you know what? I don't hate it. I'm not a huge fan of Rantanen over him, in my opinion, but like I don't hate it. Like it's not crazy. That's why I said top five. Last year, honestly, I would have said is he a top three player? Because I think last
I
year
would have said
I
yes.
was gonna say a lot of people would be putting him in that top three, but yes, with how things have gone this year, especially, and honestly, that's a great point. With how they play without him, they look too good without him. You know what I mean? Like they look like they don't need him. And I think that's just everyone kind of elevating their game when he's out of the lineup because they know they have to, but like still that they shouldn't. Like when Edmonton doesn't have McDavid, you can tell Edmonton doesn't have McDavid, you know? It's like that's how it should be. But anyways, we'll go on to the next one. Um Sheldon Keefe deserves to be in the running for the Jack Adams. Chris.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that one.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'm gonna have to disagree as well. Obviously, I already went earlier talking about what I think about the Devils, but when I say in the running, by the way, I mean like top three because I think we all know right now Carberry is winning. Like it's not, we already know. Am I wrong? It's Spencer Carberry, right? That's Washington's coach, or am I like losing my mind?
No,
I
no,
believe so.
I totally agree with
I
you.
would
It
say
should be
If Columbus
Carberry.
makes the playoffs, I think Columbus's coach, I think, deserves a shout, to be honest with you.
Okay, fair. So, do you think Sheldon Keefe would be in your top three of Coach of the Year nominees, or no?
You know what? Fuck yeah. Let's just say yeah, because you're a
Okay,
Leaf fan and you said disagree. So I'm gonna say agree because they didn't
okay,
make the playoffs last year. Now they made the playoffs. And Sheldon Keefe was
all
probably
right.
he's the reason why they did that. So I'm gonna say agree. Fuck it.
Yeah, Sheldon Keefe. Not that Jack Hughes, is getting into his prime, and Luke Hughes is getting older, and they still
We
have Dougie
talked
Hamilton
about
now fully
this.
healthy. Like, yeah, it's none of that. But, anyways,
Yeah,
Ryan.
no, absolutely not. No,
Okay.
no. I'd say like I wouldn't even put him in my top five. Like no.
Okay, I
Like
I
Fuck
I
he's
agree.
no,
closer to number
no,
10.
no way, bro.
Okay, no, no, no,
No
no, no.
way.
Let Ryan go. Let Ryan go.
No
Ryan,
Like
way.
name five better. Name five. Like, you don't have to say the coach. Just say the team.
like five like honestly, Washington
Yeah.
and then Carolina,
Okay.
Tampa, Florida,
Yes.
Toronto, Columbus,
Yeah.
Montreal
Oh yeah.
at this moment,
Montreal's
and
a
that's
good pick.
only in
Yeah.
the Eastern Conference
St.
because I
Louis,
don't
I
have the
think.
West in front of me and I can't look at it.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that's all you need. Honestly, yeah.
And Montreal, like it's a toss-up, but Sheldon Keefe does the same thing every year. It's not going to lead to anything, so I'm not going to get my hopes up.
I disagree with
Fair.
Hurricanes though. Just because they've always been a good
Brind'Amour
team.
gets his players to run through a wall. It's
He
because of
is a
their
great
coaching.
coach.
But the Devils were shit
Rod
last year, and
Brind'Amour
now
is a
they're
great coach.
good. They didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but
Did
like,
you see
why
the
is
Their
that? It's
progression?
not because of the
roster.
coaching.
Look at their roster.
Okay, but
They also have.
Their
if you,
roster, they were projected to be a top five team last year.
who? The Devils?
The Devils,
Yeah.
before the year, their roster was unreal.
Yeah, and they
And
also
they
had a lot of injuries
and
last
didn't
year.
they
Dougie
just get
Hamilton,
Markstrom for this year?
and
Like
they
Yeah,
a
but
top
Markstrom
10
this year.
goalie.
Yes,
he
This
came
guy
back
top 10
during
goalie in the league.
bro. The only reason they didn't
Van
make it last year
Vanchek
was
was playing
goaltending.
decent last year, though.
Yeah, he
Not last year,
sucked. Their
the year
goaltending.
before. The year before he was playing good.
Yeah, their
When
goaltending
when
sucked
Jack Hughes
ass.
was like 12 years old 2 years ago, like their
What?
goaltending's unreal now. Their team's great. Like it's not I could coach their team and probably get the second wild card spot, and I don't know shit.
No way. That's such a terrible take. Here we go with the coaching thing. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind on this
Okay.
podcast. Here we go with it. No, I'm not going with the coaching.
No,
I'm
no,
going
no,
with
no.
the
All
We're
right,
gonna
let's get
coaching.
to
save
the
that.
next one. Let's get
We'll
to the
save that
next
for
one.
another
Yeah,
agreement
yeah,
because
yeah.
we're gonna go
Yeah.
way over. We're gonna go way over an hour
Might
today anyway.
be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're already in. Whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what? If you're still listening, thanks.
We
Um,
appreciate it.
Mom already
anyways,
turned it off, probably.
Yeah.
the Winnipeg Jets are a legit cup contender, Chris.
Oh, it's tough because it's like the last couple of years they've just been so disappointing as soon as they hit the playoffs. Like last year, we saw Hellebuck's play just go out of the rails. in a bad way in the playoffs last year. But I'm going to say agree this year because
Okay.
they look different. It feels different. I think they'll learn from their past mistakes, and I think Hellebuck will finally lock in. And I just look too good this year.
Okay. I like it. I like it because I'm going to go with agree as well. I agree. I think Hellebuck looks too good this year. I think I think he could easily steal a series at least. And they don't have a bad roster all around. So I don't think he necessarily has to steal a series in the sense of like how Carey's had a few years ago on Montreal because their roster just was not nearly what Winnipeg's roster is. But yeah, I think they're a legit cup contender. I think they can make a run. Theo?
I think it depends who they play in the first round. How it's looking right now, Colorado's one and the Flames number two. But somehow, if the Avs are in the number two wild card spot, I think they beat the Jets in the first round. I think there might be an upset there. They might go in thinking, "Oh yeah, we could beat this team," but they also have Nathan McKinnon and Kyle McCarr. If they beat the Flames, they could definitely beat the Flames. So I don't know. I think it's a
So the
toss
question
up.
wasn't that complicated. It was agree or
I said it
disagree.
depends. I said it
And you
depends.
gave
I'm
me
in
a
the
whole.
They have
middle.
to run into
No,
the
there's no it
Avalanche.
depends. You have
Mateo,
to
they
pick
run into
one.
the Avalanche either way, whether it's the first round, second round, or third
Yeah,
Okay.
round.
so you disagree
Okay,
because you think they'd
disagree.
lose to the
Yeah.
Avs.
Yeah, I say disagree. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think they'll beat the
I
Avs.
agree
All right.
because, yeah, no, I agree because similar to what you said, Dante, like the Disneyland, Montreal Canadiens, Carey Price, like a goalie can take you so far, and Hellebuck is that guy right now.
He is that guy.
Not when you have
But
Kill
yeah,
McCarr
Mateo
perfect.
already
fucking
got
ripping
his
it on
points out
you.
for the disagree, so he doesn't need to, we don't need to keep doing this. He already got his points out here.
So last one for hockey is Radko Gudas is a good captain. I'm going with agree. Chris?
Strongly agree. Strongly agree. He's
Um,
sick.
strongly agree as well. He's just unreal out there. Like his hitting is just great.
Yeah, Mateo,
He's
what do you
unreal.
think?
What do you think,
I'll
Mateo?
go with agree this time, yeah. He bangs up the hits for my fantasy team. I love him. I strongly agree.
Oh man, we
100.
had to
If
get
you tune
Mateo with
back
that one.
into our last podcast, Mateo had a full segment roasting the Anaheim Ducks because Radko Gudas was their captain. So that's why
Yeah,
that one
he
was
went
in
off
there.
on our old podcast. That's why we had to make a new one.
That that
Yeah, we have to cut that part out.
that was rage bait for you, Mateo.
I agree
Uh,
this time though. It's a great captain.
oh man. Okay, well, moving on swiftly into the NFL. I got our first NFL agree or disagree. Then we'll talk about the wild card games. Then we'll talk about divisional games. There's no rush here. We were rushed on our other podcast. We could take 5 hours if we wanted. So don't worry
I'm
about
getting kind
rushing.
of hungry.
My computer storage is gonna get fucking it's crying for help right now.
Okay, so um, this is an interesting question. Agree or disagree? The playoffs should play a factor into who wins the NFL MVP. Chris.
That's a good question. Uh, yes, agree.
Okay.
Because you'll have players heating up in the playoffs, and it's just a lot of unreal stats. Like I'll talk about it later about some of the stats that we had over the weekend, but I do agree with that, especially when you have like a player that's hot in the season, and then they'll lose all of their skill for some reason in the playoffs. It just doesn't seem right to have that there. But you can also argue that that's what Super Bowl MVP is for.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in the middle, but I'm gonna lean. Actually, I'm gonna change it. I'm saying disagree.
Yeah.
Wait, no, agree.
Okay.
Wait, what was the question?
Should the
Not a good
playoffs
look, pal. Not a good look,
the,
pal.
do the playoffs should the playoffs play a factor into who wins the MVP?
No, disagree.
So disagree. Okay. All
Disagree.
right.
But there's arguments for both.
Okay. I'm kind of the same as Chris. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'm gonna say I know sound kind of this sounds kind of weird. I know it will sound kind of weird. I'm gonna agree. I think there should be an MVP, an all-around MVP. This is including playoffs, including regular season, everything. MVP of the whole entire year. But I do also think there should be a specific playoff MVP. So I know that sounds weird because then someone like Mahomes could win MVP and playoff MVP, and it's like, okay, so he has two MVPs. But I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying, but like an all-around MVP and then ignore the regular season, just the playoffs. That's just, I think it could be a cool way to do it, but I don't have a problem with either way. But Mateo, what do you think?
Disagree just because I don't want to see more of those stupid ass NFL awards. I don't
Okay,
want to see
fair.
Yeah.
another dumbass award come out. The regular season's the regular season, the playoffs. Just leave it how it is.
Okay, Ryan.
Similar to Mateo, I agree. Regular season MVP. It's like I disagree with this comment because like absolutely not. Like no, the regular season, some guys could be the most valuable player to their team. Team just misses the playoffs, now they're screwed. Whatever you're supposed to do about those guys. But the NFL should change Super Bowl MVP to playoff MVP and make it the
Yes,
best playoff player
100%.
because
I
some
agree.
guy who
Yeah.
wins in the conference championship gets
Yeah,
fucked because he didn't play in that game, but he put up like 18,000 passing yards in 3 games or something. Like,
yeah, 100%,
No,
100%.
that's I
But
agree with that,
but
Ryan.
but to what Ryan just said about a player could miss the playoff. No, no, no. If you miss the playoffs, you are not the most valuable player. You couldn't bring your team to the playoffs. You automatically are not the most
but at
valuable
the same
player.
time, if you, let's say, get injured and miss 2 games, and those are the 2 games your team decided, but your team's a playoff team if you're there, clearly you're more valuable than a team that would make the playoffs with anyone at your position.
That yes, that is
Like,
true. But
if
at the
NFL didn't make this award so playoff based, the most valuable player in football is Joe Burrow.
yes,
Oh,
100%.
I
But
totally agreed.
It's
Yeah.
completely agree. Same time, to that point, you can't really say, oh, if this player didn't get hurt, well, you did get hurt. You missed games.
he still that shows how valuable.
But then by that logic, you could say, oh, okay, to Chris's point earlier, Kirill Kaprizov, he's not in the top 10 in points, but he could be the most valuable player because his team's not doing as well without him. But no, you didn't play a full season. You missed games. Your team may have lost because you missed games. You don't win the award.
No, I understand that, but at the same time, it's just like there's guys that could have electric season, or it shouldn't be a quarterback. Like if a running back
Oh,
puts up
yes, that
better than
100%.
Saquon,
Yeah.
team misses the playoffs, or wide receiver puts up
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson numbers, team misses the playoffs. Like the MVP now so thought of as a quarterback award, but it's still just most valuable player. It doesn't have to be a QB.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% actually. Now that we're talking about that, 100%. I hate that it's just been designated as a quarterback award pretty much because in the end it's just like, oh yeah, quarterback wins the MVP and then oh, the guy that could have won MVP, but he's not a quarterback will win offensive player of the year. Well, no. Well, no. Like if he's the MVP, he's the MVP. Why are you just giving him offensive player of the year
The
because he's not a
the
quarterback?
MVP of the league should also win offensive or defensive player of the year because the best player on offense should be the
Yeah,
best player win MVP.
exactly.
Best player on defense, if they win MVP, was the best player on defense.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that. And I'm not even trying, I know you guys are going to say I'm trying to glaze them, but Jaden Daniels, for example, I'm sorry, I have to use a good
So the
example.
only reason he's in the
J
talks for it is because it's a quarterback award. What do you mean?
okay, but Jaden Daniels, for example, when you're bringing a team that last year had, what was it? 5 wins, I think. We had 5 wins last year, 6 wins, something like that, to a 12-5 record with you can't even look at like we brought in so many pieces. Sure, we brought in Zach Ertz. Sure, we brought in Bobby Wagner. Not saying those guys are bad. Sure, we brought in Austin Eckler. I'm not saying those guys are bad. They're not team changing players. And for Jaden Daniels to come to this team, bring them to one of the best offenses in the league, and bring them into the playoffs with 12-5 record, like that's an MVP. Not that he's going to get talked about in MVP conversation. He's not. Lamar will, Josh Allen will. But look at who Lamar has. Look
Who
at
does
like
other than Derrick Henry though?
that is all he
But
needs.
like
When you have
he's
the
a
option of
quarterback.
Lamar running or Derrick Henry running, that is all you need. Pass run option with Lamar and Derrick Henry. What do you need?
Well,
What do you need more
Washington
than
can
that?
make a phone call and bring in Tyreek Hill, so they should make that happen.
But yeah, so anyways, let's get into football. So let's talk about the wild card game. So let's start off with first wild card game of the entire round was the Chargers Texans. The Texans won 32-12. Was not close. Justin Herbert looked like a fucking bum. Um, what did he have? 4 picks, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he had four. He
Um,
had four.
yeah, he
For
looked
What
terrible.
made it even worse is the Chargers had a 6-0 lead with less than 10 seconds left in the second quarter. And then after that, it just fell apart. Like, I don't even know what happened. I watched the game one thing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then the Texans score a touchdown. And this isn't just the Texans. Like, the Texans are brutally injured. There's no Tank Dell, no Stephon Diggs, no O-line. How did they win this game?
Yeah, I'm having a
They
problem
won
with Justin Herbert
they
now.
won this game because of my favorite saying of all time. Justin Herbert is a social media quarterback and the king of what if scenarios. He's
Yeah, he
terrible.
is.
This
I
guy's
mean,
terrible.
but like even though the Chargers lost 32-12, I gotta give my props to Lad
What a
McConkey.
guy.
He broke Puka Nakua's single game
Oh, lad's him, man.
What a guy
playoff
Lad
record.
is. He makes
I
Justin
think he
Herbert look
had
good.
Yeah.
I think he had like 188 yards or something like that and a touchdown.
197, baby.
197.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he
It
almost
was
had
it was
200
unreal.
yards.
As a rookie, he cracked 1,000 yards this year, 1,100 actually. But it was just a
Yeah.
disappointing end for the Chargers season. You had Jim Harbaugh come in, you had a new core, like a whole new core. You got rid of Eckler, you brought in Dobbins and Edwards, and they looked good, and then they just sort of fell apart in the playoffs. Their defense, what happened to your defense? I know you had a couple pick sixes, but
Couple
32 points.
oh,
You
couple
have
pick
Joey
sixes is 12
Bosa,
of
Khalil
those.
Mack, like give great players on defense, and then you just what happened, Jim Harbaugh
But right there, Justin Herbert, I'm
Justin
sorry.
Herbert
and
happened.
Justin
Yeah,
Herbert? What's Herbert
Justin
doing?
I'm
Herbert, he's
sorry.
Who
terrible.
I'm
who is
sorry.
Herbert throwing to out
No,
there? I
he's
think he's seeing ghosts.
He's
Like
throwing
this
to
is
the
Sam
Texans.
Darnold.
that was his last chance. I'm sorry. I'm done with him. After he blew that lead to the Jags, in last
I'm done
was
with
it
him since
last
the
year's
second
playoffs?
season.
2 years ago, I
2 years ago, yeah, he blew that lead to the Jags. I was like, I was high on Justin Herbert. I liked him, and I was like, not a huge fan. Don't get me wrong, that is the defense fault as well for blowing the lead, but he also just stopped. Like he didn't score
Yeah, it's
anymore.
the defense. I do
Um,
agree. Like, there's no excuse for like as a quarterback, your job
no,
is to push the ball downfield, and that's when not if that's not what you're doing, then you gotta have a serious conversation at the Charger Stadium, like in
yeah,
LA
Biggest
Chargers.
loss since Ryan Leaf in Chargers history. Guy's terrible. He just has every tool to be a good quarterback, and he has a cannon. He makes terrible decisions and like brutal passes.
He has a great
People just
arm.
think he's good. People just think he's good because he has a cannon. His
yeah,
brain must be mush. I don't know what to tell you. This guy can't read a defense. And yes, that's coming from me. I'm a Dolphins fan. This guy cannot read a defense. Like once it gets past his second read, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Everyone says Tua as a first read quarterback. Fuck off. But still, Justin Herbert, once he gets past his second read, even sometimes not even to his second read, he just lobs it down there. Fuck it, lads, down there somewhere. And it doesn't work. This guy is what if scenarios. What if they caught that ball? Oh wait, the Texans fucking did. It's in your end zone, buddy. Go to fucking bed.
yeah. So yeah. Anyways, that game was a little bit of a disaster, and then we get into the Saturday night game, which was
Oh.
the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ravens coming out on top, 28-14, and
Before Mateo
before,
talks,
yeah, I was
I
gonna
want to say a
say,
couple things. I know Mateo's going to return the favor in a couple games when we talk about it, but the Steelers got absolutely ran over.
they got
200,
rammed.
they got ran over. They literally got ran over, and
Just
then
wait, Chris. Just
Bent
wait.
Derrick
over
Henry,
too,
Just
if you
wait
want
and then
until
and
the
then and, and
Packers
then
are
and then
talked
Derrick
about.
Henry and
Just
Lamar just
wait.
kept running them over. 300 rushing yards. TJ Watt did not have a tackle. What was he
Didn't
doing?
have a stat. You didn't have a
but
stat.
he
You're
didn't even
TJ
get a
Watt.
pressure.
You're TJ Watt. You're a Hall of Famer. Act like it. Play
Terrible.
like it. There was a play where he just completely ignored Lamar and he just went right for Derrick Henry. What are you doing? Do you
Read
not realize
option.
that Lamar has the ball? I know it's a read option, but he didn't even look to his left. He just saw Derrick Henry run, and then he didn't try to run back. There's Derrick Henry on the ground and Lamar's 20 yards downfield.
Yeah. Yeah. But
They got ran over 297 rushing yards. You have a defensive line of Cam Hayward, Patrick Queen, Preston Smith, and TJ Watt. Be ashamed, Mateo.
yeah, Mateo, we'll let you talk, but I just want to say one thing as well. That was the most distant 14-point game I think I've ever seen in my life. Like that game felt like it was 50-0. Like it did not feel close.
Oh,
Like the
that's
fact that you were within two touchdowns actually, like looking back, is like did not feel like that for a second. Like it literally felt like the Ravens had this game the entire time. Like not even close. The fact they made it two scores, I'm actually fucking shocked, to be honest with you. But you know, I'll go rant. Actually, before you do, if Ryan has anything to say, let him talk first, and then you can go on your rant.
no,
Okay.
I'm just looking forward to my disappointment of the next game. I'll talk about it. So
Okay, so then Mateo, go on your rant.
Okay. So always the problem with the Steelers. It happened last year. I was watching in class that game last year. At the beginning, what do they do before the games? Like, why are they so fucking shit at the beginning of every single game? Like, at the beginning of this game, right? Russell Wilson, all he does, throw it a Pat Fryermuth. Oh, third down on the third down, all the time, throw down. HB toss to Najee Harris, -1 yard. What is that, bro? Every single time. The past 4 games, it doesn't work. Arthur Smith, it doesn't fucking work. Run. Pass the Pat Fryermuth. And then Pickens, he doesn't get open. He does these stupid ass slants to the side and tries to catch the ball. He falls. And then when he does finally get the ball, he pushes off and gets a fucking flag. Like there's one play where he pushed off and got a flag where it could have changed the game. It could have changed the whole setting of the game. Instead, he had to fucking push off and get the catch. Oh, terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. I want Najee gone next year. He stinks. He's overweight. Jalen Warren was better the second half of the year, man. Way fucking better. George Pickens, he was talking trash at the end of the game. He said, "Oh, I don't see improvement or this and that." Buddy, you were terrible too. What were you doing? At the beginning of this game, I wanted Justin Fields to come in. I feel like he deserved a chance. He didn't lose a game. Oh no, I think he maybe lost 1 or 2 games when he was playing at the beginning of the season. Russell Wilson has been horrible. Like I told you guys before, whenever there would be a play where there was somewhat of him getting absolutely destroyed at some point, he would go like this. He wouldn't throw the ball out and get sacked. You get the ball, go like this, and get sacked. Like, oh my god! Before I fucking get a stroke, yeah, that's what I gotta fuck. I
Sorry,
let it all out.
I'll
That's
take
like
over.
this is like
I'll
my
take over.
therapy. That's my
That
therapy.
was
Holy
that was a
shit.
crash out if I've ever seen one from Mateo.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I've seen a few.
But
Oh, jeez, damn
we'll
it.
Oh,
we'll move on
It's
we'll
okay.
move on to
oh,
Sunday. So Sunday
oh.
first game of the day was the Bills versus the Broncos. And we'll let Ryan speak on this one because honestly I don't have much to say other than Broncos like literally blue balled
To be fair,
everyone.
I
this was the expected result of the game.
I
Yes.
got
Yes.
so excited watching the start of this game. Josh Allen lives in my nightmares. Has for the past 3 years. Spanks me around like twice a year every Sunday. Can't can't do it anymore. Bo Nix looked like my savior. And I was busy. Went to the mall. Didn't check my phone. Get home with about 4 minutes left in the game, maybe 5 minutes in the game, to see this. And this was the worst thing I've ever seen because I can't win anymore. So if I can't win, I want Josh Allen to lose. And if Josh Allen doesn't lose, I might never watch football. So that's what happened to me on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty expected. There's not too much to talk about there. James Cook had 120 rushing yards. Good for him. Curtis Samuel scored a touchdown, which missed my boy. He had 68 yards actually led the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, not too much to talk about there. Expected result. We thought the Bills would win. They won convincingly. So 30 answered. Not really much to say. Bo Nix didn't look great. Yeah, that's about it. But anyways, let's
Mateo's locked and loaded for this
Yeah,
game. It's
yeah,
revenge tour.
he's getting ready for all the stuff I
here we
said
go.
about
Let's
the
go into the
Steelers.
next exciting game.
I got the Via Sadness on.
I guess
So friggin'
everyone could already gather. All the viewers can already gather. Chris's team is the
oh,
Packers. Mateo's is the Steelers. Ryan's, I guess you wouldn't know, but it's the
I
Dolphins.
mentioned it. I mentioned
Oh,
it.
okay. And mine is the Commanders. So, anyways, Eagles Packers. That was the Sunday 4 o'clock game, I believe, and it was 22-10
oh,
for the not the Green Bay
Should have
Packers
been
for the
more.
Philadelphia
Wait,
Eagles.
can I
But
say
before
something before Chris
wait,
says
no,
something?
Mateo, no, I'll let you talk first, Mateo. But before you go off, all I want to say is a crazy stat showed during the game, and I don't know if you guys are gonna think this is as crazy as me, but just think about it. this is how good the offensive line is on Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon has 2 yards. He gets 2 yards before he even gets touched by anybody.
Yeah, it's
Think
crazy.
about that. 2 yards. The
Crazy.
rest of the league, 1 yard. A
Yeah.
whole yard better. That is insane. Like I know it only sounds, oh, 1 yard. No, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
In the NFL, a yard means the difference
That is
between a game
huge.
winner and a game loser.
Think about that. 2 yards without being touched. So that's telling you every play Saquon touches the ball, he's almost getting you a guaranteed 2 yards. He's not being touched. So he's getting you a guaranteed 2 yards, which is crazy. But anyways, Mateo, go off on Chris. I'll let you have your moment.
Bring it on,
I'll
buddy.
say
Oh,
the Packers got absolutely ran through. Oh my God, I enjoyed every second Saquon got the ball, every yard gain, every stride. Chris, how did it feel? He had an open field, but he's dropped because he felt bad for your stupid little Packers. I'll let you speak, Chris.
Is
Go,
is
Chris.
that it? Is that
no,
it?
I got I got more too, actually.
I was expecting way worse
I
from
got more
Mateo over
too,
there.
actually. Uh,
Go
I'll let
right,
him go
pay,
bro.
first.
paying Jordan Love might have been the dumbest move in NFL history. You paid a guy who hasn't fucking played, and he's fucking terrible. Don't get me started on. The Packers got ran through. Dante, you said that that Steelers game felt like 14 points was close. 12 points in this game felt fucking close because it should have been. It felt like they were down by 40. They looked fucking terrible. They sucked. The Packers were fucking terrible. I'm doing this for Mateo because he doesn't know how to fucking do it. They sucked.
I did.
They were
I did.
terrible. Felt like they should have been down like by 30 at least. At least 30. Felt like it was at minimum, probably closer to 40. They were terrible. Everything about them sucked in that game.
Wow. Well, Chris.
Okay, it's my turn. All right,
Yeah.
hang on.
Yeah.
Well, I have the hoodie of sadness on. It was not a great game. I was watching it at work. Obviously, probably not my best idea. It completely changed my mood. That first half was something else. Like I think it's not Love's worst game as a Packer. The worst one was the Raiders on October Monday Night Football. That was even worse in my opinion. Uh, but that first half was just brutal. I don't know who Love was throwing to on his second pick of the day. The first pick was a 50-50 ball. And not again, nothing you can do about a 50-50 ball, but why are you throwing up a 50-50 ball against Darius Slay to Dontavian Wicks? Like that, just some decision making from him just wasn't the greatest that game. Josh Jacobs, though, he's a dog, and without him, we don't even score a touchdown in this game. When they missed the field goal in the first half, I almost threw my phone. I was watching it. I almost threw my phone because I was like, what are they doing? How do you miss it was like a 30-yard field goal? You need that field goal to stay in the game. But overall, just offensively, just it wasn't looking. Love did not look comfortable at all. The Eagles had his number the entire time. And, the receiving core was just obviously injuries are part of the game. That's no excuse for them to play that poorly in the first half because all of our wide receiver injuries came in the second half. You can't score 0 points in the first half and then expect to win a playoff game against Saquon Barkley, Philadelphia Eagles. But I'll give props to Jeff Hafley's defense. They've been unreal this year. Holding them to only 2 touchdowns and a bunch of field goals should have been enough for the Packers offense to get something. They didn't have any turnovers, but they did what they could out there, considering being on the field for 90% of the game. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but it's just, it, it's again, like they met my expectations of a wild card appearance, but at least make it close. At least make it seem like that you're trying out there. Because until that third quarter, it just didn't seem like they were fully trying on that field. I
Except
don't
Tucker
know,
Kraft.
except for Tucker Kraft and Josh Jacobs. Like, what else can you say? There's nothing you can say. Jair, I don't even know what's happening with Jair anymore. He needs to go. The Packers desperately need a wide receiver because Christian Watson ACL is just done until week 12 of next year. So our receiving core is not very good right now. I remember, yeah, you guys might say, "Oh, Chris, a couple months ago you said that you had 4 wide receiver ones." I changed that now. They did not show up at all that second half of the season. What happened to Jaden Reed? I
He
don't know what.
realized he was
He's a
Jaden
bum.
Reed.
I don't know what happened. It's like LaFleur just wasn't scheming things for him, and there's a lot of people saying like LaFleur should be fired. I don't think that's the case. I think you got to give him a couple more years with this group. And with the whole Jordan Love is ass, it's his second as a starter. He was injured for 90 for like half the year.
And yet he's making how much money?
I do at the time I did say it was an overpay.
They
Like,
shouldn't have
are you
paid him at
like
all.
you're paying this was supposed to be his contract year, other than last year.
Just think though. They paid him how much money on his rookie deal to
No,
sit
I,
his
I,
ass on
I-
the bench and not
I'm
play.
agreeing. I'm agreeing with
No, I
that. And then
know.
they extended it by a year, which this should have been the prove it year,
Yeah, I get the fifth year
right?
option, don't get me wrong. Like he hasn't
They
played yet.
no, they gave him the fifth year
Yeah.
option,
I
and
just
that was supposed to be this past season, which they
yeah.
didn't do.
Yeah.
And then they extended to be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history.
Which is the
So
dumbest
play
move of all
like it.
time.
So play like it. Like he just didn't. I get it, he's young, but there's younger players out there who are more of a vocal leader and that will rally their team back into it.
Yeah,
And
like
there's my Packers
yeah,
rant.
like in the next game with Dante's Lord and Savior, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You guys speak first if you'd like to speak, because I'm going to
I
take the
got
longest.
nothing.
It was a good game. Baker literally fumbled the game, unfortunately, because I love Baker as a quarterback. But the Commanders, 12-5, deserve this win, like every other team who won.
Mateo, you got anything to say before I go?
Dante, I'll leave it up to you, buddy. You got
Thank
it.
you guys. Yeah, it was a great game. It was nice to see my team win a playoff game for the first time since 2005. It's been 20 years.
Oh,
Uh,
boo-hoo.
it,
In 24.
so it was nice to see us get the win. Yeah, going into it, I didn't have the highest expectations. Yes, we're a 12-5 team. Bucks are a decent team, honestly. I was okay losing that game, especially being in Tampa Bay. If we were the home team, I would have expected to win, but being in Tampa, like I said, Bucks are a good team. Baker has been gross all year. Their offense has been disgusting. Their defense has been solid. Like I was okay with it. If we lost, I honestly, as long as we kept it close, I would have been okay. Like if that game happened the other way around, we lost on a field goal. Yes, I would have been heartbroken, but I would have been okay with how the team played. But man, yes, I'm gonna get Chris, Mateo, and Ryan rolling their eyes because I'm gonna be talking about Jaden Daniels, and I overhype Jaden Daniels, but he did not look like a rookie out there. He didn't. Like he did almost everything right. Like he really, like, okay, they did turn the ball over on fourth down a couple times. That doesn't technically count as a turnover. I know it's weird because it's literally called turnover on downs, but doesn't technically count. Because he's only the second QB in history to have a playoff game with zero turnovers and zero punts. I think either second rookie QB or second QB in general. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, they didn't punt the ball. They didn't have any, stupid throws that turned into a pick. Didn't have any fumbles. They played a solid game, and I love the way Cliff Kingsbury ran this game. It was frustrating at times because it was such a slow build. They weren't getting many big throws or anything like that. But we knew we weren't going to be able to rush the ball too much. And our offensive line been very strong lately, and their rush was good, getting to Jaden Daniels super quick. So he played it perfect. He rolled out a lot of the time. Obviously, used his legs. He's fucking fast as hell. He used his legs, but also all game, all we were doing short pass, check down, short pass run option. That was the whole game, and it worked. It was slow. Our drives, I think, ended up being the ones we scored touchdowns on were like 9 minutes or 10 minutes. They were crazy. But hey, if that's what you got to do to win a football game, that's what you got to do, right? So, I understand it. And don't get me wrong, we got gifted that game at the end of it because Baker fumbled that ball, which was huge because we just turned the ball over on fourth down on like the 10-yard line. Then he turns it over in their own red zone. So we have the ball in the red zone, score a touchdown, which was ginormous. And then they had the chance. They were going the other way, and they had the chance to score a touchdown and almost put that game to bed. Because if they scored a touchdown, they would have killed the clock and scored a touchdown. But what they did, they made a mistake. On second down, they were inches away from getting a first down I think it was on our 20. They were pretty much in the red zone, if not already in. And then on third down, third and inches, all they had to do was at least not lose yardage. Even if it went to 4th and inches, you do a QB sneak, you get that first down, you're chilling. They screwed up. They messed up the handoff. It was late. The offensive line was late. Bucky Irving got tackled behind the play, lost I think like 4 yards or something like that. And they had to kick a field goal, and that gave us the chance because they tied up the game 20-20, gave us the chance, and Jaden Daniels marched down the field. Huge play on 3rd down when he ran the ball for I think it was like 5 yards, but like he looked like he was going to get tackled, but he could only grab his towel because he couldn't grab onto Jaden Daniels, and he got the first down. And then obviously that ending was just, oh my God, my stomach did a fucking flip. Like Zane Gonzalez, our backup kicker, like what was it, a 37-yard field goal, I think, and doink. And I was like, no way, this is how we're going to overtime. And it doinked and went in, and fuck, I couldn't have been more ecstatic. But yeah, honestly, Daniels played amazing. Terry McLaurin did his thing like Terry McLaurin does. De'Ami Brown, got to give that man his flowers. 5 receptions for 89 yards. Good for him. He came to play at the end. I think he got like 30 yards just on our last drive. Um, he's not even our wide receiver too. It's supposed to be Noah Brown, but he's been hurt all year. So good for De'Ami Brown. He had a great game, and yeah, everyone did their job, man. Bobby Wagner, that's who I wanted to praise. Bobby Wagner, man, what a legend. That guy is a legend. And he played great, got that fumble for us. And yeah, I won't go on much more. Obviously, I'm the only happy one here, but we'll go into the last game. Rams Vikings. Rams won that game 27-9. I will let everyone else speak.
Yeah.
Just quickly gonna say Vikings are
Yeah, not
frauds.
much to say other than
Thank
yeah.
God the Vikings are frauds. Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah, no,
I'll let you go.
no, I only have one comment 'cause I know you're gonna have the most here as a division rival. The only thing is, God damn it, I really have to see JJ McCarthy start the team next year because Sam Darnold,
He
you
sucks.
blew it. He had such a great season. You blew it, man. That's it.
Yeah,
All
go
right,
off,
all right,
Chris.
all right, all right, all right. So the Vikings making all this noise in the offseason. We took Aaron Jones from you. Look at that. We sure JJ McCarthy was injured, and obviously the Vikings just exploded out of nowhere. But what's happening the last 2 weeks to those Vikings? I can tell you, Mr. Sam Darnold out there was seeing ghosts. It was hilarious to watch the Vikings just collapse on themselves. Sam Darnold was looking good all year, but the Rams played him perfectly. They played that game perfectly. And the Vikings, just like the Steelers and every other team that lost, mostly the Vikings here, should be ashamed that they lost this game. The Vikings should not have lost this. You lost to the Aaron Donald-less Rams. They have just Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, and TJ Hawkinson. How do you lose this game? How do you score 9 points? That's something that was super surprising. You scored 9 points. Nine against a Rams team whose defense was physically rebuilding. Shout out to Chris Shula, first year defensive coordinator for the Rams. Played this game perfectly. And you guys want to know something that's even funnier that makes this Vikings team seem a lot more pathetic than it is? In the last 8 quarters of football that they have played, they have scored 18 points, 9 in each game, 1 touchdown.
I have 2 words for you. Sam Darnold.
Sacked 9 times.
It's Sam Darnold. It's the fact that Aaron Jones got 13 carries for 40 something yards.
Wash.
That's unacceptable. And unfortunately, as much as I love Aaron Jones, it would suck to see him sign with the Vikings in the offseason. I'm happy he's out too, because you just don't go to a division rival and get away with it. There's no escaping the pack. And I hope Washington wins next week. I don't want them to win. Again, division rival thing. I also do want to see the Commanders just go all the way, because I think it would be awesome to see a rookie quarterback and just how much the Commanders have grown over the last couple of years.
Well,
Wouldn't it
thank
be
you.
better
And
to see Dante like the rest of us?
Yeah, but I want to see a different team win. Like, I don't want the
but you know
Chiefs to
what it
win.
is?
No one
Well,
wants the
the
You know
Chiefs
what
to
Lions
win.
win.
I don't want the Lions
You know
either.
what it is? Let's be real though. Like I have the least hated team out of all four of us because who
Why
the
am I
fuck
hated?
hates Washington?
Who
Everyone
cheers
who
for
hated their old
Washington?
Mm,
name, and now all the people that loved their old name and they got rid of it. Who hates
But
Let's
Miami?
be
We're so
honest. Who
irrelevant. Everyone
cheers?
sucks. Everyone feels bad for us.
well, now that we're here, now that we already kind of talked about
Well,
it, let's just quickly get into our predictions for the
Okay,
divisional
I
round.
think maybe a little 2 minute drill for it could work
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a quick prediction each. Each of us will get like a minute. Just name off the team you think's gonna win each round. Give a quick reason. That's it. Don't do too much with it. I'll start off. Give example. Okay, let's just start off quickly. We'll go from first game to last game. First one, Texans Chiefs in Kansas City. Don't think it's gonna be that close. Casey's gonna take that one. I think Mahomes is gonna do his thing in the playoffs. Their defenses look great. Um, I think the Texans aren't that good. I think they just ran into a bad Chargers, not a bad Chargers team, bad performing Chargers team. Commanders Lions, much as I'd love to save my Commanders, I think the Lions take that. I honestly think it's going to be closer than most people think. I think it will be a one score game, maybe two, but I think a one score game. But yeah, Lions are great. Anyways, Rams Eagles. I actually think that's going to be a very close game. I honestly could see the Rams making some noise, but I just think Saquon's going to do his thing, and I think the Eagles are going to end up coming out top, like I think most people expect. And then the last game, Ravens Bills. The only interesting, no, I shouldn't say the only interesting game. The only one that like could go either way in anyone's predictions, the 50-50. I'm taking the Bills. I think Josh Allen is him. I think he's going to do his thing. It's in Buffalo. Um, I'm just yeah, I'm going with Buffalo. I've got no other explanation for that. So, anyways, Chris, you take over.
Texans, Chiefs, Chiefs. I just think the Chiefs are just too dominant defensively, and now that their offense is heating up, it just looks like the Chiefs are like they're playing the Texans, the injured Texans, like I was saying before. I think the Chiefs just win this one. This one's obvious. Commanders, Lions, as much as I want the Commanders to win, I don't think they will. I think the Lions take it. Rams and Eagles, I'm going to go with an upset on this one. I think the Rams have just been heating up the last couple of weeks. They've had such few defensive touchdowns on them as well. So they've been holding teams to like zero points in the second half. I do think they find a way to shut down Saquon or minimalize his production on the field. So I'm going Rams, Ravens, Bills. I'm gonna have to go with the Ravens on this one. Derrick Henry and Lamar are just too dominant this season to not pick them.
All right, Mateo.
Texans Chiefs. Obviously the Chiefs. Taylor Swift refs Black Magic. Lions Commanders. I love it for the Commanders to win for Dante, but I gotta go the Lions. Minus 9.5 betting odds. I don't think I can go for the Commanders there. Rams Eagles. Like Dante said, I think the Rams can make some noise, but Saquon. So I'm going the Eagles. Ravens Bills. Maybe because I seen them absolutely demolish my team. I think I gotta go the Ravens. Lamar and Henry are just too dangerous of a duo. I think they'll beat the Bills. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Ryan.
For Texans Chiefs, as much as I want to say the Texans and the entire NFL world outside of a random city in Missouri wants the Texans to win, it's going to be the Chiefs. But it's not going to be the biggest blowout of the day because we're going to get to Lions Commanders where Lions by a million, Lions by 50. Sorry, Dante, this isn't just because of you. Lions by 50. I don't think it'll be close. I think the Commanders will probably put up 10, 15 points and it'll still be Lions by 50.
Jesus
If I'm
Christ.
wrong, I could very well be wrong. Jaden Daniels could go off, but I'm just saying, not it's going to be a blowout. Rams Eagles, Saquon Barkley is the best player in football. He's not losing. Ravens Bills for my own mental sanity and my own enjoyment of watching the rest of the playoffs. It better be the Baltimore Ravens and Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. It better be, or this is going to be.
Fair enough. All right. So then, before we wrap it up, let's just do a quick final Super Bowl prediction. Um, Before we wrap things up, just pick one from AFC and NFC. I'm gonna stick with I'm just gonna answer for Ryan too because I already know his pick
Yep.
because we had the same pick. It's we said from the beginning. I know it sounds weird because I picked the Bills to win that game, but I do think Ravens Lions
Yeah.
is
It's fine.
the Super Bowl. That's why in the end that Bills Ravens game is literally a toss up. I said the Bills, but it could be the Ravens. I'm still saying Ravens Lions for the Super Bowl. But Chris Mateo, what are your picks? Go, Chris.
I I know I picked the Rams to win, but I'm gonna go with Ravens Lions on this one as well. It
Okay.
obviously changed, but I just think the Ravens have the edge. So the Lions, they looked looked too dominant this year. Like they're dropping 30 plus points almost every game. I don't know what other team just adds to the Lions, and that's without Aiden Hutchinson too, right? And I just think the Ravens and the Lions just have just would be such a good game.
All right, Mateo.
I could do the reference to the final whistle and go Chiefs Ravens, even though it doesn't make sense. You know what? I'll go different than you guys. I'll go Ravens Eagles. We'll do it the year of the running back. Saquon Barkley versus Derrick Henry will be like a cool rushing Super Bowl. Yeah, I think I'll go with those two.
All right,
Yeah.
interesting. Really, you
Yeah.
can't go wrong unless you put the Commanders or Texans in the Super Bowl.
Or
Yeah.
Chiefs, because
Um,
no one wants that.
no one wants
I
it,
was
but
originally gonna go Rams Chiefs, but
We'll call
hey,
it the
that would have
bird.
been
Mine's the
interesting.
bird
because
ball. The
because
bird ball.
because the Rams are kind of underrated. I think that
They are underrated.
they're sneaky good.
They are underrated. I said right from the beginning because we were looking like we were going to play the Rams in the first round. It was either going to be the Rams or the Bucks, and I'm like, oh my God, we're going to play the Rams. Like, there's no way we're going to get killed, and we didn't. So
And then
we didn't have to play the
Evan
Rams.
gets to be happy, so I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if I
know,
want that.
honestly. But yeah, so anyways, that was a fun little podcast. So yeah, that was first episode of our podcast on athletic opinions. Thank you so much for watching or listening on Spotify or wherever you're listening. And yeah, we will be back. We are supposed to be posting every other Friday, so we should be back in 2 weeks' time, and we'll talk about some more hockey, some more football, and whatever else is going on in the world of sports. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you guys later.